The champagne glass stopped halfway to his lips when I slid the lawsuit across the table. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The coffee was still steaming when I found the patent filing in my email. Attachments forwarded by mistake. My daughter's husband, Derek Chun, CCing me on a thread meant for his legal team. 27 pages detailing a revolutionary water filtration system. My water filtration system. I set the mud down slowly, watching the liquid settle. My hands, spotted with age, scarred from decades in workshops, rested flat on the desk beside Catherine's photograph. My wife at 38, laughing in our garage laboratory, safety goggles pushed up in her hair. He wouldn't, I said to her smile. Sarah's husband. He wouldn't. But the filing was dated 4 days ago. Inventor listed, Derek Chun. No mention of the Anderson name. No mention of the 15 years Catherine and I spent developing ceramic micropore technology. No mention of the prototype sitting in my workshop or the documentation we'd maintained since 2008. Derek had been in that workshop 6 months ago when he and Sarah visited for Catherine's birthday. Would have been her birthday. I'd shown him everything. The prototype, the test results, the filtration rates that exceeded anything commercially available. This could change everything, he'd said, running his hand over the ceramic housing. Clean water for developing nations. Disaster relief. Emergency systems. That was Catherine's dream, I'd told him. Make it affordable. Make it matter. He'd nodded, serious and respectful. My son-in-law, the ambitious engineer, the man my daughter loved. I'd trusted him with Catherine's legacy. The filing documents stared back at me from the screen. Every specification matched my prototype. Every innovation we'd developed. Catherine's ceramic formulation, my pressure regulation system, the self-cleaning mechanism we perfected after 8 years of failures. All credited to Derek Chun, sole inventor. My phone buzzed. Sarah. Dad, Derek's big presentation is Tuesday at the Innovation Summit. His company's unveiling a water purification breakthrough. Can you come? It would mean so much to him. To us. The Innovation Summit, where tech companies revealed new products to investors, buyers, potential partners. Where Derek would stand on stage and claim Catherine's work as his own invention. I looked at the calendar. Tuesday was 4 days away. Then I called my attorney. Martin, it's Joseph Anderson. I need you to review something urgently. Martin Freeman had handled Catherine's estate, our patents, every legal matter for 30 years. He knew my work intimately. What's going on, Joe? I forwarded the email. Tell me if I'm seeing this correctly. 5 minutes of silence. Then Martin's voice came back, hard as granite. This is your ceramic micropore filtration system. Every detail. Can he do this? Legally. Did you have patent protection on the technology? We filed provisional patents, but never pursued full utility patents. Catherine got sick and my voice caught. I couldn't focus on paperwork. Provisional patents lapse after 12 months without follow-through. When did you file? 2019. Then the protection expired in 2020. Joe, if Derek files now and you have no active patent, he can claim the technology as his own invention. The room seemed to tilt. Unless, Martin continued, you have documentation proving prior invention. Laboratory notebooks, dated prototypes, witness statements, anything establishing that you and Catherine developed this technology before Derek's filing. I have 15 years of documentation. Everything Catherine and I did, dated, witnessed, notarized in some cases. Then we can challenge this. But Joe, it's going to be expensive and ugly. He's family. He stopped being family when he stole from my wife. I spent the next 3 days gathering evidence. Catherine's laboratory notebooks, each page dated and signed. Photographs of prototypes from 2008 forward. Test results. Supplier. Invoices. Everything chronicling the development of what Derek was calling his breakthrough. I also made phone calls. Derek's company, Aquatech Solutions, had scheduled Tuesday's presentation at the Grand Meridian Hotel. 200 attendees. Media coverage. Derek's CEO would be there. Potential investors. Industry analysts. The perfect audience for what needed to happen. Martin worked around the clock. By Monday evening, he had the lawsuit prepared. Patent infringement, theft of trade secrets, fraudulent filing. Named defendants, Derek Chun and Aquatech Solutions. Once we file this publicly, there's no going back, Martin said. Your relationship with Sarah will suffer. I thought of my daughter. Sweet Sarah, who looked like Catherine, who'd brought Derek to family dinners and glowed when she announced their engagement. Sarah, who'd held my hand at Catherine's funeral and promised we'd stay close. But I also thought of Catherine in the garage at midnight, running another filtration test, refusing to give up. We're going to save lives with this, Joseph. Children who drink contaminated water, we're going to save them. She believed so deeply. And now a man who'd married into our family wanted to profit from her dream without acknowledging she'd ever existed. File it, I said. Tuesday morning, I dressed in my gray suit. The same one I'd worn when Catherine and I presented our early research at a water safety conference in 2011. I picked up the lawsuit documents, printed and bound, and drove to the Grand Meridian. The Innovation Summit filled the grand ballroom. Tech entrepreneurs, investors in expensive suits, venture capitalists hunting for the next big opportunity. I found my seat in the third row. Sarah had reserved it, thinking I was there to support Derek. She spotted me and waved, beaming. Derek stood near the stage, rehearsing his presentation on a tablet. He wore a tailored suit, hair perfectly styled, the picture of confident innovation. He saw me and smiled. Walked over. Joe, glad you could make it. This is going to be incredible. The technology is revolutionary. Catherine's technology. His smile never wavered. I've made significant improvements. Streamlined the design. Made it commercially viable. By stealing her work. That's a harsh word. He glanced around, lowering his voice. You never pursued patents. The technology was essentially abandoned. I'm bringing it to market. Catherine would want it to help people, right? With her name on it. Not yours. Derek's smile finally faded. Joe, I understand you're grieving. But you need to be realistic. You're 73 years old. You don't have the resources or energy to commercialize this. I do. I'm making Catherine's dream real. By erasing her from it. I'm being practical. He straightened his tie. Enjoy the presentation. You'll see what proper engineering can accomplish. He walked away. The lights dimmed. A moderator took the stage and introduced Aquatech Solutions. Derek's CEO spoke briefly, building anticipation, then called Derek forward. My son-in-law walked into the spotlight, carrying Catherine's stolen dream, and I stood up with the lawsuit in my hand. The moderator paused mid-sentence as I walked toward the stage. Mr. Chun, I said clearly, my voice carrying in the suddenly quiet ballroom. Before you present, you need to see this. 200 people watched as I climbed the stage steps. Security started forward, but Derek held up his hand. Joe, what are you doing? I handed him the lawsuit. This is a complaint filed in federal court this morning. You're being sued for patent infringement and theft of trade secrets. The technology you're about to present was developed by my late wife, Catherine Anderson, and myself over 15 years. We have documentation proving prior invention. Every claim you're about to make is fraudulent. Derek's face went white as he scanned the first page. This is insane. You can't. I can. I did. I turned to the CEO, who'd rushed onto the stage. Mr. Holbrook, your company is named as a defendant. You're about to present stolen intellectual property to 200 witnesses and multiple media outlets. I'd suggest consulting your legal team before proceeding. The ballroom erupted. Voices overlapping, phones appearing, investors leaning forward. Sarah was standing in the third row, her hand over her mouth. Derek's voice rose. This is a bitter old man who can't accept that his work went nowhere. I've improved the technology by copying every specification exactly. I pulled out a printed comparison. Derek's filing on one side, Catherine's 2015 notebook entries on the other. Identical diagrams. Identical measurements. You didn't improve anything. You photocopied 15 years of our research. I held up the pages for the audience to see. Martin appeared from the side entrance, walking quickly to the stage. He handed a tablet to Holbrook. That's the filed complaint with supporting evidence. 70 pages of dated documentation proving prior invention. Holbrook's expression went from angry to horrified as he scrolled. Derek grabbed my arm. You're destroying me. Your own son-in-law. Sarah's husband. You destroyed yourself when you stole from Catherine. I pulled free. She welcomed you into our family. Showed you her life's work. Trusted you with her legacy. And you saw an opportunity to profit by erasing her from history. I was trying to help. You weren't doing anything with it. Because my wife died. The words came out harder than I intended. The ballroom went silent. Catherine died, and I spent 2 years just trying to breathe. I wasn't abandoning the technology. I was grieving the woman who created it. Derek's hand holding the lawsuit dropped. For a moment, something like shame flickered across his face. Then his jaw set. You have no active patent. The provisional expired. I filed properly. This lawsuit is harassment. Prior invention trumps first filing when fraud is involved, Martin said. We have 15 years of documentation. Mr. Anderson's prototype exists and has been photographed with dated evidence. Unless you developed identical technology independently, which we both know you didn't, you committed theft. Holbrook was already on his phone, stepping away. I could hear fragments. Legal emergency. Halt the presentation. Exposure. Derek looked at Sarah, who was crying now, confused and devastated. Sarah, he started. Is it true? Her voice shook. Did you steal from my parents? I was making it viable, bringing it to market, for Catherine's legacy, by cutting her out of it. Sarah climbed onto the stage, tears streaming. By pretending you invented it? Dad, is he lying? I pulled out Catherine's notebook, opened to March 2012. Her handwriting, precise and clear, describing the ceramic micropore breakthrough. Diagrams in her hand. Calculations. Notes about wanting to help children in developing nations. Sarah took the notebook with trembling hands. She'd seen her mother's handwriting thousands of times. Mom did this, she whispered. Your mother was brilliant, I said. She spent years perfecting this technology. Derek saw the prototype 6 months ago. Then he filed for a patent in his name alone. No credit to Catherine. No acknowledgement of her work. He was going to stand here and accept praise for her innovation. Sarah turned to Derek. The devastation in her eyes was complete. How could you? Sarah, let me explain. You met my mother. She was kind to you. She loved you because I loved you. Her voice broke. And you stole from her. I was trying to make something of it. Your father was letting it sit in a garage gathering dust. It's been 2 years since she died. Sarah's scream echoed through the ballroom. 2 years, and you couldn't wait? Couldn't ask? Couldn't give them credit? Holbrook returned, his face grim. The presentation is canceled. Derek, you're suspended pending investigation. If this lawsuit has merit, you're terminated and we're settling immediately to protect the company. You can't. You told me you invented this. You showed me your development work. If you committed fraud, you've exposed Aquatech to massive legal liability. Holbrook looked at me. Mr. Anderson, my attorneys will contact yours tomorrow. We want no part of stolen intellectual property. Security was moving in now, professionally ushering people out. The Innovation Summit was over. Derek stood alone in the spotlight, holding the lawsuit, watching his career disintegrate in real time. Sarah walked to me and collapsed against my chest, sobbing. I held my daughter while her husband stood 10 feet away and understood, finally, what he'd destroyed. The next 2 weeks moved like a controlled demolition. Aquatech's legal team reviewed Martin's evidence and settled within 6 days. Full acknowledgement of prior invention, transfer of Derek's fraudulent patent to my name, financial compensation for damages, and public correction of the invention record. Derek was fired. His reputation in the engineering community cratered. No company would touch someone who'd committed patent fraud so blatantly and publicly. Sarah moved back home, filed for divorce, spent her evenings in the garage, reading Catherine's notebooks, crying over the mother she'd lost and the marriage that had been built on betrayal. I brought him here, she said one night. I introduced him to Mom's work. You trusted him. That's not a sin. I should have seen it. The way he asked so many questions about the prototype. How interested he was in the documentation. Predators are good at hiding. Your mother and I didn't see it either. She touched the ceramic filter housing. What are you going to do with it now? I'd been thinking about that constantly. The patent was mine now. The technology was protected. But protection wasn't purpose. What your mother wanted, I said. Make it matter. I hired a small team, engineers I trusted, people who'd known Catherine. We refined the prototype, simplified manufacturing, reduced costs. The goal wasn't profit. It was access. 3 months after the lawsuit, I established the Catherine Anderson Water Initiative, a nonprofit dedicated to developing affordable filtration systems for communities without clean water access. The first production units went to a village in Kenya that had been using contaminated river water. Installation took 2 days. The ceramic micropore filters produced clean water at 11 cents per 1,000 gallons, sustainable, locally maintainable, built from Catherine's breakthrough. The village leader sent a photograph. Children drinking from the news system, smiling. I put it beside Catherine's photograph on my desk. We did it, I told her. Your dream. Your way. Sarah joined the initiative board. She quit her corporate job and learned the filtration technology inside out. Her mother's work, finally understood. Derek sent one email 6 months after the lawsuit. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I let ambition blind me to what really mattered. I didn't respond. Some apologies come too late to bridge the destruction they follow. But on quiet mornings, I sit in the garage workshop with coffee and Catherine's notebooks. The initiative is expanding, 12 communities now, with 15 more planned. Engineers contact us wanting to help. Donors contribute. Catherine's name is on every filter, every system, every life changed by clean water. The technology she created is saving lives. Her name is remembered. Her legacy is real. That's what matters. Not the lawsuit, not Derek's destruction, not even the vindication. It's knowing that when Catherine worked until midnight in this garage, believing she could help people she'd never meet, she was right. And no one, no opportunist, no thief, no ambitious son-in-law, could steal that truth. The patent document sits framed on the wall now. Ceramic micropore water filtration system. Inventors, Catherine Marie Anderson and Joseph Robert Anderson. Both our names. Forever. Sarah found me there one morning, reading her mother's notes about wanting to help children who got sick from bad water. She'd be proud of you, Dad. For fighting. She'd be proud of the work, I said. That's all she ever cared about. We stood together in the workshop where Catherine had changed the world, and I felt something I hadn't felt in 2 years of grief. Peace. Not because I'd won a lawsuit, because I'd kept a promise. And Catherine's dream was alive. The letter arrived 8 months after the Innovation Summit. I found it in the morning mail, addressed in careful handwriting I didn't recognize. The return address was Sacramento. I opened it with my coffee cooling beside me, Catherine's photograph watching from the desk. Dear Mr. Anderson, my name is Rebecca Torres. I'm an engineer with the California Department of Water Resources. I heard about the Catherine Anderson Water Initiative through a colleague, and I've spent the past month reviewing your filtration technology. I believe it's the solution we've been searching for. California has 1,200 small communities with contaminated water supplies, arsenic, nitrates, agricultural runoff. These towns can't afford traditional filtration systems. Your ceramic micropore technology could change that. I'd like to discuss partnership. I read the letter 3 times. Then I called Martin. How legally protected is the initiative? If this scales up? Completely. The patent is yours, the nonprofit structure is solid, and Catherine's name is permanently attached to every application. What? I told him about the letter. Joe, that's extraordinary. California's water crisis could make this technology known worldwide. That's what she wanted. Not fame. Impact. I called Rebecca Torres that afternoon. Within 2 weeks, she was in my garage workshop, examining the prototype, reviewing test data, asking questions with the same intensity Catherine used to have. This is revolutionary, she said, running water through the ceramic filter. The flow rate, the purification level, the maintenance requirements, everything works for small community systems. My wife was meticulous. She spent years perfecting the ceramic formulation. Rebecca looked at Catherine's notebooks, spread across the workbench. I'm sorry for your loss. But Mr. Anderson, her work is going to change lives. Thousands of them. We began pilot programs in 3 California towns. The installations succeeded beyond projections. Water quality improved dramatically. Maintenance costs stayed minimal. Community leaders called the systems miracle filters. News outlets picked up the story. Not about me, about Catherine, the engineer who'd worked in her garage for 15 years to develop technology that made clean water affordable. The woman whose husband fought to protect her legacy after her death. The articles mentioned Derek once, in passing. The technology was nearly lost to patent fraud before Anderson successfully sued to reclaim his wife's invention. That was enough. His name attached to theft. Catherine's attached to innovation. Sarah called after the first major article ran. Dad, people are reaching out to the initiative. Engineers wanting to help. Manufacturers offering production support. Even international aid organizations. Your mother's dream is growing. I wish she could see this. She can. I looked at the photograph. Wherever she is, she knows. The initiative expanded faster than I'd anticipated. Within 18 months, we had installations in 47 communities across 6 states. International projects began, villages in Guatemala, the Philippines, rural India. Each system bore a plaque, Catherine Anderson Water Initiative. Clean water for everyone. I hired Sarah as director of operations. She was brilliant at it, organized, passionate, protective of her mother's vision. She interviewed every engineer, vetted every partnership, ensured quality standards matched what Catherine would have demanded. We worked together like Catherine and I once had. Long hours in the workshop, coffee at dawn, solving problems, refining systems, staying true to the mission. One morning, Sarah found me staring at Catherine's photograph. "You okay, Dad?" I was thinking about Derek, about how close he came to erasing her. But he didn't. He stopped him. What if I hadn't found that email? What if he'd presented at the summit before I know? Sarah sat beside me. "But you did find it. You did stop him. Maybe Mom made sure you saw it. Maybe she was protecting her. Work from wherever she is." I'd wondered that myself. The email forwarded by mistake. Derek's one careless error in an otherwise calculated theft. "She always protected what mattered," I said. The initiative's 2nd anniversary fell on what would have been Catherine's 71st birthday. We held a celebration at the newest installation, a community center in Oakland that served 300 families with contaminated water supplies. The mayor spoke. Rebecca Torres presented data showing dramatic health improvements in children since the filters were installed. Sarah gave a speech about her mother's dedication and brilliance. Then they asked me to say something. I stood before the crowd. Families whose children now drank clean water because Catherine had refused to give up in our garage 15 years ago. My wife believed engineering was about people, not patents, I said. She believed innovation meant nothing if it didn't help someone who needed help. She worked in obscurity for years because the work itself mattered more than recognition. I paused, looking at the faces. Someone tried to steal that work, to profit from her innovation without acknowledging she existed. But the truth has a weight that fraud can't match. The documentation was there. The evidence was clear. And now Catherine's name is attached to the technology she created, helping people she never met but always believed in. The crowd applauded. A little girl, maybe 7, came forward with a drawing she'd made. It showed a water filter with "Thank you, Mrs. Anderson" written in crayon. I kept that drawing, put it beside Catherine's photograph on my desk. 3 years after the lawsuit, Derek sent another email. "Joe, I know I have no right to your attention, but I need to say this. I was wrong. Completely, unforgivably wrong. I saw brilliant work and convinced myself I could improve it, commercialize it, make it mine. I didn't think about what I was stealing, who I was erasing. I've spent these years working in water treatment for a nonprofit. Low pay, hard work, no glory. Learning what Catherine understood from the beginning, that the work matters more than the credit. I'll never stop being sorry. I destroyed my marriage, my career, my integrity, and worst of all, I hurt the memory of a woman who showed me nothing but kindness. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I finally understand what I destroyed. And that Catherine's legacy, what you've built with the initiative, is exactly what she would have wanted. I'm glad you fought. I'm glad you won." Derek, I read it twice. Then I forwarded it to Sarah without comment. She called an hour later. "What do you think?" "I think regret comes easier after consequences." "Do you forgive him?" I thought about that. About Derek on that stage, about the lawsuit, about the years of work to rebuild what he tried to steal. "I don't carry anger for him anymore," I said. "But forgiveness isn't mine to give. He didn't steal from me. He stole from Catherine. If she were here, she'd have to decide. What would Mom do? Your mother believed in second chances, but she also believed in accountability." I looked at Catherine's photograph. She'd probably say Derek earned his consequences, and what he does with the lessons is his choice. We have work to do. That felt right. Not forgiveness, not punishment. Just truth, and moving forward with the mission that mattered. The initiative celebrated its 5th anniversary last month. We've installed systems in 200 communities across 14 countries. 500,000 people now have access to clean water because Catherine spent 15 years perfecting ceramic micropore filtration in our garage. I'm 78 now. The work has slowed me down. Sarah runs most operations. I come to the workshop 3 mornings a week, make coffee, review the latest installations, answer technical questions from engineers. The patent remains in my name. My will transfers it to the initiative upon my death, with ironclad protections ensuring Catherine's name stays attached forever. Some mornings, I sit with her photograph and the patent document and the drawing from the little girl in Oakland. We did it right, I tell Catherine. Your way? Not for profit. Not for glory. For the people who needed it. The coffee goes cold while I sit there. But I don't mind. The silence isn't empty anymore. It's full of purpose achieved, legacy protected, promises kept. Derek's lawsuit settlement money funded the first international installations. His theft became the catalyst for Catherine's dream reaching further than we'd imagined possible. There's poetry in that. The man who tried to erase her helped spread her impact across continents. Sarah found me in the workshop last week, holding Catherine's oldest notebook. You know what's amazing? She said. Mom's name is in water treatment textbooks now. Engineering students study her ceramic formulation. She's not forgotten anymore. She's foundational. That's what she deserved. Because you fought for it. Because she earned it. I just made sure people knew. Sarah hugged me. Thank you for not letting him win. Your mother never let anyone diminish what mattered. Neither could I. That evening, I updated Catherine's photograph on my desk. Added a new one beside it. The initiative's team at the 200th installation, smiling in front of a water system bearing her name. 2 photographs now. One showing the woman who believed. One showing the dream that became real. The patent sits between them, protected, active, doing exactly what Catherine intended. Some legacies die when their creators do. But others grow stronger, spreading through the lives they touch and the work they enable. Catherine's legacy is clean water in villages across continents. Her name is on filters that will run for decades. Her innovation is saving lives she never met. That's what I fought for. Not revenge. Not vindication. Legacy. Truth. The assurance that when someone creates something meaningful, their name stays attached to it forever. Derek learned that truth the hardest way. But Catherine's work speaks for itself now. In every community that has clean water because she refused to quit. And on quiet mornings in the garage where she changed the world, I make coffee and remember. Not the fight. Not the theft. Not the lawsuit. Just her. The work. The dream fulfilled. That's enough. It has to be enough. And somehow, in the gray morning light with her photograph watching, it is.